welcome to the next video in the Ad Sales Management series. I'm Joe Hooper, Senior Director of Industry Products and Solutions at V2. I head up our media cloud practice and very excited today to speak with Stan Shaul. He is a Principal Solution Engineer at Salesforce, and we're going to be talking a little bit more deeply about Media Cloud and the value that it offers to media customers. So Stan, do you want to give a quick introduction?
Sure. So Stan Shaul, I am based out in Los Angeles, but I am a Principal Solutions Engineer on the Media Cloud team over at Salesforce and come with many, many years in the media industry, and just want to talk a little bit about Media Cloud and what we have to offer.
Let's get into it. It really is helpful to really understand the what's going on with Media Cloud sort of under the hood, so to speak. And I think what you said about having a platform that covers the standard use cases, up to 90%, and then a platform that is fully customizable, built on open APIs where you can bring together the different media revenue models, whether that's subscriptions or ad sales, and have all of that together in one standard but customizable platform. I think that is tremendously powerful from what we're seeing in the marketplace. So I appreciate that detailed breakdown for everyone to really understand how Media Cloud comes together as a product.
And that's really, to be quite frank, that's where V2 can come into play. They can come into play there where they can add value, customize it for the correct experience for that particular customer. Leverage Media Cloud's functionality and tool set, and provide that specific experience for that customer.
Absolutely.
So let me actually show you from a visual perspective of how all these pieces tie together. And I'm going to do it in the perspective of the converged ad sales platform. So let's start at the top of the funnel where you really have your marketing experience. This might be Marketing Cloud or might be something else, but it's a place where you actually drive your customers in, whether those are new customers or whether those are customers that actually are your existing customers and you want to speak to them. And we see things like CDP coming into play. We see personalization coming into play, but effectively experiences at the top of the funnel to drive people into that experience. In the case of advertising, a lot of times that might be an agency or brand, but also the other side of the picture is on the consumer side, collecting information about the people you're actually going to advertise to, so you know how to target those ads to the right people. Now, let's just say we have an opportunity. It's coming through an RFP. The next step really is, and the stuff in purple is going to be what Media Cloud and the advertising sales platform is going to solve for, is the ability to go ahead and take that opportunity and start to build a media plan. And that's built on top of the data model that we have, using a guided flow, using OmniScripts, and we're really building an experience where we're building a media plan itself. Now, what will come into play here is, how do we price each of these products out? And that uses our CPQ engine. So we're pricing each placement out. We're making sure that it's priced appropriately based on how much the customer wants to spend and how much those particular placements are going to cost, whether you have inventory or not. Then once that negotiation back and forth has happened and everyone's happy with the plan that's being put together, the contractual side, creating the insertion order. And that's, again, a negotiating process with a flow. You might have executive oversight or financial oversight involved, but you have a workflow that comes into play, and eventually you end up with a signed contract. And that contract also can use digital signature, like DocuSign as well too. So at that point, we want to go ahead and execute on that contract itself. So create the order. And then order management comes into play there, where you actually are going to execute on this. You're going to send that information to your downstream systems to manage it. Make reservations in terms of inventory if you have to. In the case of print, for example, you need to reserve the pages that you're going to be printing out with those ads. Speaking to your downstream OMSs to actually flight these, if it was digital or programmatic, to actually execute on those. Speaking to your downstream data system to say, start collecting information once we actually flight these particular placements. All of those particular elements that are specific to the way you do business. And that might involve manual steps as well too, like approving creative. Make sure you don't place this till we see the creative, we make sure it looks good, and we make sure we approve it. And then the downstream of once you flighted it, starting to track exactly how things are performing. And that can be from the 500-foot level for the whole entire ecosystem for a company. How well are we doing in terms of where we budgeted for the year in terms of advertising revenue, or for a specific campaign, and making sure that that's performant. Could be overseeing how well a given team is doing, as well as seeing how things are performing out in the market space so that you can make changes as necessary. Make goods, for example, or increases in spends as things are being flighted. And then here's really how it ties into the measurement and billing side. We don't get paid if we don't bill. So connecting all of those to a billing system, and also in terms from an oversight as well too. Maybe you have third-party oversight to make sure that the ads are actually getting placed where they need to. And really, all of these will accelerate these points. We're trying to get a single view of truth, all of your information in one system, so that everybody in your team knows exactly what's going on. Workflow automation, so that everybody on the team knows exactly what's going on and what needs to happen, with potentially guardrails using your particular processes. Converged planning, the idea that you can have multiple places where you're actually executing this media plan. Linear, for example, digital, sponsorship, out of home, and having a converged solution, one place where the media planners plan everything, and they don't have to worry about how it gets executed downstream. They plan exactly the same way. So if you move from one downstream OMS to another, it's transparent to them. Personalization, how do we personalize the offer? So for example, let's just say a customer like Hilton comes in to put together a plan. How do we personalize that specific to Hilton versus another customer? AI and ML that come into play, intelligence. How do we actually optimize the spend so that we make more intelligent decisions about what customers are doing, as well as what we're offering customers in terms of products. Integration, both into your third-party systems and downstream systems, as well as the Salesforce systems. And then collaboration. How do you collaborate with your own internal teams, as well as your customers as well? Think of your agencies and brands. How do you make sure that you have collaboration in the picture as well too? So
I think that's a great. I think that was a great illustration. Just to go back to the last slide briefly. I think it's a great illustration of the value of a single converged and standard platform for managing the entire process end to end. And I think a lot of our customers will see the value in that today and moving forward in light of the trends that we talked about earlier, with the increasing importance of data as well as the increasing diversity of data sources and delivery systems that are at play when we talk about media. So I think this is a really important view for our customers to recognize what the value of Media Cloud is.
Perfect. And then for the last discussion, let's talk about the actual industry-specific solutions and delve a little deeper into them to show you what we're actually offering. And like I said, keep in mind that this is something to get you 80% of the way there, and that the entire experience is going to be built specifically using Media Cloud for your use case. So we were talking about advertising sales management, and the idea here is really to allow you to grow, scale, and build on your converged platform in terms of selling across all the different verticals that you sell to. We find that this world is accelerating. We're very transformative at this point. We're seeing new visions of how to advertise to the customer all the time. And with these new media solutions, you have to be creative in terms of how do you introduce advertisements in there quickly, test them, see if they actually get returns, and then decide whether you want to continue selling them. How do we maximize our yield? How do we know how much money we're actually making so that we know that what we project to make really actually happens? And how do we be more proactive as opposed to be reactive? Know exactly what's going on before it becomes a problem. streamlining the operations, making sure that there's clean passover from one group to another. We find a lot of swivel chairing going on these days. The idea that you can communicate and pass over from one team to another. Your media planning team can pass over to your ad ops team and vice versa, so that everybody has a clear vision of exactly what's going on. And then the idea of having a single view of truth, of having data that you know is the right data all in one place, so that you can slice and dice that data and view it a number of different ways. On the advertising sales management solution, these are areas that we're focusing on. The idea is that anything that has a filled in purple circle exists today, and we have on the roadmap a number of items like agency collaboration or demand side, AI-powered campaigning and revenue optimization down the road. But what we do have today is the ability to manage your accounts, get a really good view of the customer, the idea of building a converged media plan, tying that into contractual management, executing on that contractual management, in other words, creating a quote and then taking that to an order and then managing that order. Better optimization of your business processes so your teams can be more efficient, like RFP ingestion, speeding that up. Having insight into what your campaigns are doing, performance-wise, and that could be individual campaigns. It could be a 360 view of the entire ecosystem you have. It also could be how do you surface that to your clients or agencies so that they know exactly how their campaigns are performing. And then building on that to actually build a more sophisticated advertising solution that will work no matter how you sell down the road. Let's also talk about the subscriber space too. So we're living in a subscriber-first world, especially with the last 2 years, where we've seen people moving to spending a lot of their income on subscriber-based experiences, whether that's video experiences, gaming experiences, digital content, which may be publishing, magazines, etc. Health and fitness, you're seeing in the case of Peloton, and you're seeing videos and streaming in that sense. And the retail space as well too. You're seeing companies that you wouldn't traditionally think dealing with subscribers. Groupon, Freshly, Blue Apron selling to subscribers, and then personal and fashion care as well too. All of these places are having and looking for incremental recurring revenue using the subscriber model. Things today that are key to this are things like churn management and the ability to put the right offers in front of the customers when you get them. And our subscriber lifecycle management really aims to do that. How do we streamline gaining new subscribers? How do we talk to the customers that exist with personalized and efficient processes? How do we service them from a customer service point of view? What do we need to do to drive retention so customers who could easily switch from one service to another don't? And then how do we incrementally sell to those customers? And then how do we build to those customers? How do we do that efficiently? How do we actually make smart, intelligent choices about when to upsell and cross-sell those customers and maximize ARPU? And the goal here is to optimize this incrementally for your customers. And that's a good overview of exactly what Media Cloud is. I hope that this was informative for you. Hope that it gave you some insight into what we have to offer, and then what you have to work with to build the solutions that you want today and in the future.
Stan, thank you so much for taking us through that. I think this is tremendously valuable for people to understand really what Media Cloud does and how it's built under the hood. And I'm excited about the continued innovation that we'll be working with in partnership with Salesforce on around Media Cloud in 2022 and beyond. So I hope this was informative for all of our viewers, and hopefully we can have some conversations about Salesforce and V2 and media solutions and how we can work together. Thanks again, Stan.
Thanks. Appreciate it. And looking forward to working with you guys as well too.